There's one thing I've learned from working with senior leaders. It's this: great leaders never speak by accident. Every word, every pause, every message has an intent behind it. They don't just communicate to be understood, they communicate to move things forward. And that's what makes their communication strategic. It's not about sounding impressive, it's about using words like levers to align, to influence, and to inspire action. And once you start watching for it, you can see the pattern. Strategic communicators consistently do three things differently, and that's what I want to share with you today. A few years ago, I was working with a senior leader in a global organization. Let's call him Rajiv. He had just been promoted to a regional leadership role. He was smart, respected, and articulate, but his first few months were really tough. He would walk into meetings full of ideas, but they often ended in confusion. People left with mixed messages, different interpretations, no alignment. One day, after a particularly frustrating town hall, he said to me, I said everything right, but somehow I don't think anything landed. And that's when we discovered that difference between communicating well and communicating strategically. Communicating well means you deliver your message. Communicating strategically means you design your message to land exactly the way you want it to. Over the next few months, we worked on three key shifts, three communication secrets that great leaders use, not by chance but by design. The secret number one is they always start with intent, not content. Most people start preparing what they want to say. Strategic communicators start with why they are saying it before they even open their mouth. They ask, what outcome do I want from this conversation? Do I want to inform? Do I want to influence? Do I want to inspire? Each intent demands a different tone, structure, and energy. So, for example, if you are informing, you focus on clarity. If you are influencing, you focus on reasoning and benefit. If you are inspiring, you focus on emotions and possibility. Now, Rajiv began every major communication after that by writing down one line on top of his notes. My intent is to this. He said it was the simplest shift but the most powerful one, because once you are clear about your intent, your words, tone, and examples all start aligning automatically. Now, intent gives your communication a direction. Secret number two is they start simplifying messages without losing meaning. The higher you rise, the less time you get to make your point. Strategic leaders understand this, and they don't try to sound smart, they aim to make others see clearly. Now, one of the best CEOs I've worked with once said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it deeply. He would ask his team, if you had to explain this idea to a 10-year-old, what would you say? Not to dumb it down, but to strip away the noise and reveal the essence. Strategic communication is clarity under constraint. It's saying more with fewer words. And the magic is people trust what they understand. When Rajiv started simplifying his updates, three key messages per meeting, each backed by a short white matters, his influence skyrocketed. People didn't just hear him, they started quoting him. Because clarity doesn't just build understanding, it builds authority. And secret number three, they communicate forward, not backward. Most people use communication to explain what happened. Strategic leaders use it to create what happens next. They're always pointing people towards action and alignment. And after any discussion, they'll summarize the so what and now what. So, what does this mean for us? And now, what do we need to do? And that's how they transform communication from talk to traction. In fact, I remember Rajiv using this approach during a tough project review. After a heated debate, instead of summarizing who said what, he clearly said, all right, here is what I'm hearing. We have two priorities and three next steps. Let's align on that before we leave. That moment of composure turned chaos into clarity. And everyone walked out knowing exactly what to do next. That's what strategic communication does. It converts energy into direction. Strategic communication is not about more words, it's about better sequencing. It's intentional, simple, and forward looking. And it turns meetings into momentum. It builds credibility not because you sound authoritative, but because you help people think, decide, and act faster. So the next time you are about to send an email, lead a meeting, or deliver a message, pause for a second and ask yourself, what's my intent? What's my simplest message? What's the action do I want next? That's the foundation of strategic communication. If you start doing that consistently, something amazing would happen. You stop sounding like someone trying to contribute and start sounding like someone who's leading the conversation. That's the difference between being a communicator and being a strategic communicator. And that's the difference between sounding good and sounding unforgettable. Now, if you're liking these videos and content, do share and subscribe to the channel. And yes, please don't forget to comment on what you would like to know more about. Thank you.